Hi guys, I'm Chris Shenkle. I'm a filmmaker and an actor, and this is a little tips and tutorial series that I'm doing for people who are looking to get started in film and video production. So today we're going to be talking about stabilizers, and this is actually part two in a series talking about different stabilizers that you can use for different types of camera shots. So today we are talking about the shoulder rig. So the shoulder rig is, it's essentially kind of going handheld with a little bit more stability than handheld. This particular shoulder rig is kind of a lower end, pretty cheap, and I put a Manfrotto quick release plate on there so I can move the camera in pretty quickly. So it's pretty straightforward. It sits on your shoulder and it stabilizes, and you can push kind of back up against your chest, and you have a much more greater control over your framing with the shoulder rig. You can also add in a counterweight with this particular model, and I think most of them would do that as well. So you can put a counterweight on there. I'm using a really light camera. This is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, so I don't really need the counterweight with something this light. But yeah, that's it. That's the shoulder rig. So the pros and cons of the shoulder rig are going to be, the pros are that it's obviously very flexible. It's quick, you can maneuver around, you can be creative, and you can get the shots that you want really, really quickly. The cons are going to be that it's really not ever that smooth. It's always going to have a shaky feel, and it's going to have a human element. So in general, I think if you're trying to do certain genres, it might not work for every type of shot. So it's always going to have something that kind of feels like a documentary type of feel, and it's going to feel like there's a human behind the camera. So that can work great for some things, but for certain types of shots, you just can't do it. You can't get epic, long, sliding shots with a shoulder rig. It's just not going to happen. So that's this week's episode. We're going to be talking about more stabilizers next week. I'm Chris Shenkle, and I hope I'll see you next week.